Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome. Welcome to the Good Vibes stream. Britannia rules the waves. Somebody just subscribed to this YouTube channel. I didn't even know you could still subscribe to this YouTube channel. The subscription's still open? Oh, they're probably every time someone subscribes, they probably unsubscribe someone. I wouldn't worry about it. Anyway, welcome, Chris. Good evening. I actually promoted this stream. I don't usually promote this stream. Good evening, everybody. What is going on? Congratulations on surviving the frostbitten, deadly conditions. Some of the news titles are absolutely hilarious. Look at this. Look at this. I was like, what can we watch together to just sort of take the piss, right? And I was like, well, let me just. I was like, well, I want to find some stuff about, you know, the crazy weather, like I did with the video today. So I was like, should I put in like crazy weather UK, like ice storm UK into the search bar? And I thought, no, let me just put news UK into the search bar. You just put news UK, you get 3 children die after falling in lake. Warning over UK deep freezing. Travel disruption as heavy snow. Snow and ice causes travel chaos. UK wind drought. Means future of renewable energy hangs in balance. UK wind drought. Bro, these people are making up new things to say every day. Wind drought. Wind drought. Wind drought. Oh. Hang on. I got my background music on, but can you guys hear my background music? I got the nice, like, 432 hertz healing background music on. You guys hear that? No? Look, we can and nope. Who to believe? I turned it up a bit. I don't know if you can hear it. I can't play it through Streamlabs. The stream will get pulled. You're not allowed to listen to fun stuff. Okay, so you can hear it now. Right, you can. But Cruiser can't. Just about hear it. Okay? Okay, fine. Not sure it's appropriate for the stream anyway, to be fair. It's not. Yeah, that's not appropriate for the stream. We'll do the, what should we do? Should we feed the ducks? It's actually quite a credit to the background music on here that you can actually have the feed the ducks on for the whole stream, and it's kind of good. Right, which one of these should we watch? They're all going to be hilarious. What about UK wind drought? Come on, that's got to be funny. UK wind drought? What's this?
We are in the middle of a wind drought.
Do you reckon these guys actually like get these scripts and just go, what the hell is this? Sorry, who's written wind drought? You're trying to make me look like a bloody idiot, Stephen. You guys taking the piss back there? You want me to talk about a wind drought with a straight face? Let's watch this guy do it again. This really is hilarious.
We are in the middle of a wind drought. For several days now, a stiff breeze has skirted the UK.
The guy actually said stiff breeze. For several days now, a stiff breeze has skirted the UK. Man, there is no weather condition that these people will not try and paint as a crisis. It's like, if it's not windy, it's a wind drought. If it is windy, it's like hurricane-level winds. It's insane.
Around from Norway across to the Atlantic. But Western Europe is there in the middle of it all, and it's almost totally calm. It'll stay like that for a while yet, and that matters because our wind farms are almost all in Scotland and the North Sea.
Right. It's almost like saying, well, we're just going to wait for the wind to blow and that's how we'll get our energy is the stupidest thing you've ever heard in your entire life. It's almost like you know that it's stupid. And it's almost like you put up all these wind farms just deliberately to get people used to, well, we can just tell you that there's no electricity now because, you know, obviously we put up all these wind farms, there's no wind, so I guess you're all screwed. Whereas before, people would just be like, turn the power on, you idiots. But now they're like, oh no, there's a wind drought, so we all have to put up with this.
It's not until Wednesday or even Thursday that the winds pick up and the turbines start turning. The lack of wind is having a big impact on how we're generating our electricity.
Even he doesn't believe any of this. Come on.
This has been our energy mix over the last year. Wind produced around 28%.
Bullshit.
Gas, 42%. And coal, just 1.6%.
Oh, I do not believe you.
But look at the mix from lunchtime on
Monday.
Believe you. Gas power stations have been ramped up, producing 61% of our electricity.
It's almost like it's winter, mate.
Wind is down to a little over 3%.
It's almost like we need these fuels that have been put in the earth by God for us to use, isn't it?
About the same as being generated by coal. This snapshot is unusual, but it does show the limitations of renewable energy in some weather conditions.
Finally, I've been saying this for ages. No one wants to listen, but now that there's no wind, it's like, oh, now we can cause a panic. It's like, oh yes, now there's a wind drought. What a dork.
And winds are likely to get weaker with global warming. These are the projections on...
Oh, what do you know? What do you know? Global warming's affecting something negatively again. Well, I never. Well, I never, Rooney.
Future wind speeds, even if nations collectively reach net zero soon after 2050.
Have you noticed this guy sounds like he's a children's presenter? Listen.
Global warming. These are the projections on future wind speeds, even if nations collectively reach net zero soon after 2050. They drop significantly across the Northern Hemisphere, shown by these...
Now they're telling you that, oh, wind speeds are dropping all over the world. Oh, the wind's dying out. We're not going to have any wind. We've used so much plastic straws that there's no wind.
Shades of blue, a phenomenon called global stilling.
Global stilling?
By rapidly rising temperatures up in the Arctic.
A phenomenon called global stilling. Called global stilling by who? You and like one other dork? It is exactly like play school.
In the UK, winds are expected to weaken by up to 3% by 2050 and 10% by the end of the century. Right now, the UK is taking a big bet. Is taking a big bet on wind.
Wait a minute.
At the end of the century.
Source carbon brief. Source carbon brief. So this guy can just trot out here and say, oh, the winds are going to weaken by 3% by 2050. How the hell could you possibly know that? And the source is carbon brief. Winds will weaken. Everything's in caps. Winds will weaken. Oh, let me tell you something. The top scientists in the world have done all the studies, and they know that 3% of the wind is going to drop out of the atmosphere by 2050. Sure, they do. Oh, and by 2100, it's going 10% of the wind will have gone. This is so dumb.
Right now, the UK is taking a big bet on wind. We have 14 gigawatts of onshore wind turbines and around the same offshore.
Why? Everyone knows these things are junk. Killing all the wildlife, costs more energy to put in than they bring out. UK's put a big bet on wind. Why are we betting? We've gambled on whether we'll have energy. Who signed up for that? When they install these things, does anyone remember being told as the general public, listen, this is a big gamble and this is a real, we might not have any power if the wind dies down, which it looks like it might. It's funny how they don't do these calculations about how renewable energy is a load of shit until after they put up all the renewable energy stations, isn't it?
But the government has a target to increase that capacity to 50 gigawatts and to turn off gas and coal power stations by 2035.
Despite the fact that you just told us that there's going to be no wind.
However, having the turbines doesn't make them turn, as
oh my gosh, this is like he's talking to a 3-year-old.
We're finding out now.
As we're finding out now. Wait a minute, he didn't just say that.
As we're finding out
wait.
To 50 gigawatts.
Listen to this.
Turn off gas and coal power stations by 2035. However, having the turbines doesn't make them turn, as we're finding out now.
Are you absolutely joking with me? You just put that out on national television. Having the wind turbines doesn't make them turn, as we're just finding out now. You mean to tell me that you've just found that out now? A 5-year-old will tell you that. A 3-year-old will tell you that. And this guy's seriously standing there. This is a national news broadcaster. He's seriously standing there and saying to you, as we're just finding out now, that if we just put a wind turbine in a field, it needs wind to make it go round. You are not just finding that out now. You are a grown man, sir, with glasses on. You got a belt on, you got shoes on, you've dressed yourself. You cannot stand there and be like, well, we're just finding out now that just having something there doesn't make the wheels go round on it.
And although the government also plans to expand nuclear energy to 24 gigawatts by 2050, that wouldn't fill the gap left by the lack of wind at the moment. We will need to find some other way of storing vast amounts of energy or importing much more through long-distance cables if we're going to keep the lights on.
Oh my gosh, if we're going to keep the lights on. Do you see what they're trying to tell you now? They're trying to tell you, listen, there might not be enough wind for you to have the lights on. Trump took the piss out of them about this. Do you remember? Trump took the piss out of them about this. People thought it was joking. Fears a UK cold snap has turned deadly. Man, this is a gift that keeps on giving. This will be a good one.
A white winter in Britain isn't rare, but it is this early in December.
Oh, I just had my sister scream, it's snowing, it's snowing.
Snow settling across much of the UK, including London. The freezing conditions making driving difficult.
Look at these. These clips make me laugh, man, of people deliberately driving cars into other cars and filming it. You know, and then being like, oh, man, this is happening all over the country. Oh, my gosh, this is so... All of this stuff is so staged. Look. So someone's just sitting there filming, just rolling the camera as somebody just plows into a car side on, and then again the same. You asking me to believe it's the same car? Are you asking me to believe it's that you filmed a 3-car pileup? Is that, oh my God, they're asking you to believe that. They're asking you to believe that this black car was run into by a silver car, and then he came and ran into that car.
Motorways.
And then as he was running into the car, somebody got out of the car as it was being run into.
Making driving difficult.
You're asking me to believe that this isn't on purpose? Man, this is ridiculous.
Barely worth the trouble. The Arctic blast bringing with it tragedy too. In the dark, rescue teams searched water on the outskirts of Birmingham. 4 children fighting for life after being pulled from a frozen lake. They'd been playing on the ice.
What? Who plays on a frozen ice lake? Do you know what I mean? And they try to make out like the cold snap has turned deadly. It's like, if kids are playing on an ice lake and they fall in, that isn't the cold snap that turned deadly. Do you know what I mean? That's like playing on a railway track, get run over a train, and being like, the train lines turned deadly. It's like, no. Jane says, I'm not buying this story. It certainly is. It's so convenient, isn't it? It's like, hey, everyone needs to be so afraid. You know what I mean? Let's see.
Our crews entered the water, swam to the first child, and our specialist trained firefighters, including technical rescue, rescued 3 further children.
What's this guy got a rainbow on as he's saying this? Is that weird to anyone else?
Our crews.
If I'm listening to a police officer give a serious briefing about missing children, I don't want to be wearing a rainbow. Is that weird? Why would you be doing that? If you give a serious briefing about some tragedy, and it's like, oh, wait a second, just let me get on a rainbow. Huh? Is now the time? Is now really the time? The Mirror said these kids all fell in and died of heart attack, cardiac arrest. So what? 4 kids fell into a So 4 kids were playing on the surface of a frozen lake.
Entered the water, swam to the first child, and our specialist trained firefighters, including technical rescue, rescued 3 further children.
All 4 were said to be in cardiac arrest, now in critical conditions. The search ongoing. There are fears for another 2 children.
Wait a minute, so 6 children? 6 children fell into a frozen lake. There were 6 children playing on a frozen lake?
Flights grounded too at Heathrow, Gatwick and Manchester.
Here we go, more fear.
Sub-zero conditions expected to last at least a week. In London, Hugh Whitfield, 7 News.
Thank you, 7 News. Da da da. Let's have some more.
And thousands of NHS workers, which includes
It's just all doom and gloom, isn't it?
nurses from the Royal College of Nursing, will now strike this Thursday, the 15th of December, and again on the 20th in England.
Wait a minute. So NHS workers are striking, rail workers are striking, postal workers are striking. Like every single worker in the entire country is striking all through Christmas?
Wales and Northern Ireland.
You're telling me you're not doing this shit on purpose?
Ambulance workers,
Ambulance
including
workers as well, right.
medics, emergency care assistants and call handlers will take...
Do you know why the ambulance workers are probably going on strike? Because they've got so much work on right now. You know, they're being called out so much. Who knows why, right? YouTube.
industrial action on the 21st of December and the 28th. Postal workers were striking yesterday and are expected to continue on a
I mean,
number
look
of
at this.
days this month.
Postal workers
Rail
striking
strikes
Christmas.
will take place over 4 days this week and from Christmas Eve. And
They've had to do like double circles. You're telling me this isn't purposeful? You're telling me they're not doing this on purpose? Really? You asking me to believe that?
till early on the 27th of December. More are also planned in January. And Border Force staff, driving test examiners, security staff on Euro
Look how much they're trying to shit you up, man. Look at it. They've got a circle around every single one.
Star, and some civil servants are also walking out this month. With the latest, here's our political correspondent, Rob Powell.
Only CBDC can save the day.
Health workers on strike in Northern Ireland at the beginning of a
Pay
week
up now.
of disruption across the UK.
You know, it's never on the establishment with all this inflation, all the money that banks steal and the way they're deliberately ramping up the price of everything and making us all poor. It's never the establishment. It's always like, the nurses want money. They want you to pay up. It's the nurses. It's the workers that are the problem. It's the rail workers. It's the train workers. It's the mail guys. It's the nurses. They're also greedy. It's like... Exactly. Funny that no private company workers are striking. It's all the establishment causing you more pain, more misery.
UK that will impact almost everyone in some way.
We work long hours, we're underpaid, we're understaffed, we can't deliver the service that we should be delivering.
We're not just out here for more money, we're out here for safe staffing levels.
Of course it's difficult, but we're forced into this time after time. Now, it seems to be a regular thing, and it's always coming down to the Tories.
There
Tonight,
we go, this crap.
In Westminster, hastily...
This crap. Oh, it's the Tories. Oh, it's the Labours. Oh, yeah, right. You think people are stupid? You think we don't see that there's one entity behind the whole thing? Oh, the Labours. Oh, the Tories. Shut up.
Arranged talks ahead of a nurses' strike on Thursday ended in bitterness, with the health secretary telling unions higher pay rises would mean less money for frontline services. Union leaders accused the government of belligerence and having too little to say.
There is no other point in us
Union
having
leaders, my
conversations
ass.
about other things. Of course, we're willing to do that in addition to talking about pay, but they can't be completely instead of talking about pay.
Up the road, ministers attend a COBRA emergency committee.
Cobra.
Are you doing enough to avert strikes?
On the agenda,
the media are so real, aren't they? Hello, mate. Are you doing enough to avert strikes? Oh, the media are so real. They're so real, the media. That's why they didn't ask one legitimate question the whole of the COVID pandemic. Oh, they're so
deploying
legitimate.
troops to drive ambulances.
This whole pantomime of somebody going into a building and a reporter being like, hey, Shut up.
And check passports.
Hello, Minister. Are you
Hello,
comfortable
Minister.
with troops standing in for striking
Oh, I'm
workers?
just asking you a question.
But the man
On a
coordinating
street. It's
the
not
government
choreographed.
response is clear there will
Oh,
still
he
be
didn't talk to
disruption.
me.
At a time when people are struggling both with the consequence of the situation in Russia, Ukraine, as we emerge from COVID, and indeed this winter weather, I don't think most people think it's fair and reasonable to undertake these strikes. So my message to them would be, even now, please call them off.
Oh, yes, it's all the workers' fault.
So with both sides
You're not
seemingly
all in this together to make regular people miserable now.
be dug in, the outline of a deal is hard to make out.
Ministers appear to be shifting their focus from averting this month's strikes to tackling their impact. The big risk for Rishi Sunak, though, is that with more unions balloting for action,
Thank you for breaking
the
this
public
down
may
so
decide
simply,
the country
weirdo.
simply isn't functioning and blame the government for not dealing with it.
Oh, thank you.
For Labour, a carefully calibrated
yes,
position.
everyone get your masks
no
on.
commitment to pay rises and no vocal support for the strikes, just criticism
Get
of
your
the
masks
government's
on,
approach.
boys. There was a pandemic 5 years ago. Get your masks on.
Has been a complete joke.
Oh,
Say that
You're
he's
not reading
willing
off the
to
script
talk
at all,
to
are
the
you, guy?
RCN about everything other than the issue they want to talk about. That's not serious.
And it's not the only dispute. Rail workers today rejected a deal that could have averted some Christmas strikes.
Oh, jeez, here we go. Do you know how many days of a week there are strikes in this pitiful country? There's rail strikes like every other day. Every other day there's a rail strike. Every other day. It's such a piss hole, this country now. And it's all, I promise you, it's all being done on purpose. Oops. You're all still here. Well, I can go out and come back in again. That's interesting. I didn't know I could come out and go back in again. Eddie P! What's up, bro? Man, I just went out by accident and came back in again. That's pretty hilarious. I didn't know I could do that. I pressed back on my browser by accident. So I sodded off and came back. I thought you'd been raptured. Ah, too funny. You see what I'm talking about, though, with the news? And it's like, just as they want to start the whole Project Fear winter, it's like, oh, these children have died because of the cold. I swear they did the same thing the last time. I swear the last time it was hot, they said that children drowned. I remember doing a video about it. And they were like, oh, they've got these frogmen down here looking for them and stuff. Every single time there's any sort of weather, children drown. You notice that? I swear I did a video on it before. During the heat wave, it was like, oh, children shouldn't be swimming in the water because they're all going to die, you know? Yeah, it was the exact same story. Just with hot instead of cold. "7 days of cold weather to grip UK." Piranhas is right. Honestly, these people are sick, man. They're absolutely sick. Any kind of weather, they'll just find an angle on how could this kill a child, and then they'll do a story on it. Man, you notice global warming is just completely out the window now because everything's freezing. Now it's climate change. As soon as it started snowing, they started going, well, children are dead. Well, looks like a bunch of children are going to die from snow coming down. That's the most normal thing to think. Trains don't work. Postage doesn't work. Nurses don't work. Globalist warming. Do you think that's what they've got planned next? Like climate lockdowns, really? Do you think? GB News were getting right on this as well. GB News are every bit as bad as every other news channel, I swear. I absolutely can't stand GB News, I've got to be honest. Britain's news channel. Arctic Blast, that was the one. Disco Dave, I saw that as well. Arctic Blast. So, okay, you guys want some end times content? I know you do. Where we go? Okay, here we go. One world religion time.
Big things are happening around the world with governments and religions pushing towards a one world religion. We knew this would happen. It's prophesied it will happen. I'll get into all that in this video. The Abrahamic family house in Abu Dhabi, pretty much the Chrislam center, which also has a Jewish mosque there. And I say Chrislam because the Roman Catholic Church, as well as the Islamic Imam, they signed their Declaration of Human Fraternity not long ago. This kind of joining of peace between Islam and Catholicism. I'll get into that in a bit, but first I wanted to talk about the Abraham Accords Global Leadership Summit that just took place in Rome, of course, of all places. And again, it's more of this uniting of the religions, the Abrahamic religions, as well as all religions and all governments in this unity of peace that the Bible tells us will ultimately be ran by the Antichrist and will just be a one world control system. So the former Israeli ambassador to the UN is the host of this Abraham Accords summit that just happened, the first of its kind, and just listen in his own words what he has to say about it.
Coming to you early in the morning from the streets of Rome, we're here to cover a first-of-its-kind meeting called the Abraham Accords Global Leadership Summit.
Ambassador Duran, great to be with you once again.
Great to be here in Rome.
Tell us, what is the Abraham Accords Global Leadership Summit?
It's an amazing event where we have dozens of leaders from all around the world coming to...
Oh yeah, he doesn't look evil at all. He doesn't look untrustworthy. No. This guy's salt of the earth.
From all around the world, coming together to learn from us, the countries in the region who achieved peace, how we did it, and what we can do to help them. What we will see in this conference is an amazing coexistence of different religions, but we have the same values. And when you look at the Abrahamic
What's this weird black hand in the center of the picture there that we're all supposed to ignore?
Accords, how come we were able to forge such a strong bond?
Oh no.
It all goes to the core values. The amount of cooperation is above all expectations. The number of Israelis traveling to the UAE, trade, culture, you name it. We are very proud of it, and I'm optimistic that in the near future we will see more countries joining the Abraham Accord, especially now when we have a new government, when the Likud-led government will take control in a few days. We will see that we will be able to expand the Accords.
So the idea here is to expand the influence of the Abraham Accords to nations around the world?
Absolutely. And also, we are very active on the bilateral arena, but we can also take it to the multilateral arena.
So as you can see, the main goal of this whole thing is really moving towards a one world control, one world peace is how it comes on the scene at first, but ultimately leads to one world control. To quickly mention, and hopefully this is obvious, but Jesus says to love our enemies, and peace is of course a good thing. Luke 6 verses 27 through 36 is a great passage for people who want to know what Jesus has to say about loving your enemies. And I'll read just the first two verses, 27 and 28, and it says, "But I say to you who hear, love your enemies, do good to those who hate you, bless those who curse you, and pray for those who spitefully use you." So when I make videos talking about these things, of course, I'm not saying we shouldn't be loving our enemies or anything like that. Of course we should. That's a very foundational biblical fact and teaching of Jesus. But the reason I focus on these things and point these out is because we know in the last days there will be a one world control system, one world government, and it will come in the name of false peace, or peace at first, but it will lead ultimately to the destruction of the entire world. And we know this from many Bible verses. The most common of this and the prophecy of this is 1 Thessalonians 5:3. For when they say peace and safety, then sudden destruction comes upon them as labor pains upon a pregnant woman, and they shall not escape. We also know in 2 Thessalonians chapter 2 that the coming of the lawless one is according to the working of Satan with power, signs, and lying wonders. And in that chapter it says that for this reason God sends them a strong delusion that they should believe the lie. We also know in Revelation 13 that the Antichrist is healed from his deadly head wound, and then after that he and his image is worshipped by everyone in the entire world, and those who don't worship him will be killed. Lastly, we also know of the peace deal in Daniel 9:27 that will go on in the last days that will eventually be broken by the Antichrist. And the reason that all matters is because that's the system that we're seeing set up. A system of world peace, a system of world governments and religions coming together, setting up this system where everyone is saying peace and safety, ultimately accompanied by satanic signs and wonders and miracles, deceiving clearly the majority of the world, or just the majority of people who are not set aside to follow after Jesus Christ. So a massive number of people, because broad is the gate and wide is the way that leads to hell. Many people will be deceived by these things, and that's why it matters, because we're seeing this being set up right now as we speak. So we're seeing this on a governmental level with the Abrahamic Accords Summit that just took place again in Rome, which I think is a high likelihood that they are Mystery Babylon. But we're also seeing what's happening in Abu Dhabi with the Abrahamic family religions coming together at the Abrahamic Family House Center, which is almost complete, will be complete weeks, I believe, into 2000.
Sorry, folks, we've had a... it's Triple P! Triple P's in the house. Say hello to Triple P, ladies and gentlemen. Bosh, says Triple P. Donation incoming. The EU VP and other MEPs being bribed by Qatar to the tune of 600,000 euros has just given 600,000 people 600,000 reasons not to trust any politicians. Who agrees? Is that breaking news? See, I told you there'd be some breaking news on here. Thank you for the super chat, Triple P. I didn't know about that. I got something to do with the World Cup. The EU Vice President and other MEPs, so member of the European Parliament. I don't trust any of these politicians anyway. I mean, I really feel like we're so close to the end times, to the one world government, etc. I can't bring myself to trust any of these politicians. Like, just look at Rishi Sunak as an example. He's just this kind of like robotic weirdo, like, you know. Who was the other one? Like Liz Truss. Like, where did she come from? Penny Mordaunt. Like, where did she come from? You know, and Michael Gove. It's like, man, that guy is an absolute cokehead, isn't he? The EU want to investigate corruption within Hungary. Interesting. Okay, let's go back to the end times.
2023. Here is an update on that, and here's a picture of it. A tweet someone tweeted saying it's almost done. The one on the right is a church, the one in the middle is a synagogue, and the one on the left is a mosque. Again, so Jesus tells us, love your enemies, do good to those who persecute you, which many people in the Middle East who are Christians are heavily persecuted by the Islamic faith. And even in Israel, sadly, you know, they don't treat kindly to pretty much anybody who doesn't follow Judaism, which is why we need to be praying for the people in Islam and the people who are in Judaism, because these people need to realize Jesus is the Messiah. But this doesn't mean we at all should compromise the truth of the gospel. Galatians 1:8 says, but even if we or an angel from heaven preach any other gospel to you than what we have preached to you, let him be accursed. So that's even a huge difference in comparison to just religions coming together and being kind, and people are kind of listening like, well, maybe we should have a unifying gospel. And people are buying into that, let alone the fact in this verse says, if an angel came down from heaven, I mean, imagine if an angel came down from heaven and said that we should all come together, then people definitely would be on board. in just comparison to just the earthly systems saying this. But this verse in Galatians tells us no matter anyone who tries to tell you any other gospels besides the gospel of Jesus Christ that we know, then they are telling a lie, and we shouldn't believe anything that they should say. It says, let him be accursed. 2 Corinthians 11:14-15 also confirms that we need to be very diligent and discerning at what we are paying attention to in the last days. And it says, and no wonder, for Satan himself transforms himself into an angel of light. Therefore, it is no great thing if his ministers also transform themselves into ministers of righteousness, whose end will be according to their works. So when we see people in these world systems, in these religious systems rising up, and they seem to be ministers of righteousness and a minister of light and goodness, they very well are just a minister actually of Satan if they are not preaching the absolute truth that Jesus Christ alone is the only way to heaven. Again, we know another verse of the Bible prophecy that is coming in the last days surrounding this one world religion, and that is in 1 Timothy 4:1, and it says, now the Spirit expressly says that in the latter times some will depart from the faith, giving heed to deceiving spirits and doctrines of demons. Which any doctrine that teaches anything besides the truth of salvation in Jesus Christ alone is a doctrine of demon. A doctrine of demon doesn't have to be just like some absolute satanic thing of rituals and things and evil that we would imagine a doctrine.
Although there's enough of that going on as well.
Even a doctrine of, well, all roads lead to God, and you know, everybody, if you're a good person, then you're going to heaven. That's a doctrine of demons as well, because it leads people to hell. And that's exactly what demons and Satan wants. So truly, it's pretty clear to see that these are the systems, the end times world systems being set up of one world government, one world religion, and it's a complete fallacy and lie that we should be following these in the respect of that there is some sort of salvation and unity that we should be achieving. Of course, we should be getting along. We should even be talking to other religions and other denominations, saying, how can we better each other and be good to each other? Of course, that is a gospel principle that Jesus, I would believe, would of course want us to do as well.
Wait a minute. This is so true. Barclays are deliberately limiting manned windows in their banks. Took me 20 minutes to get to see a cashier today in the enormous queue. Dude, I've been saying that for ages. Like, you go in the bank now, it's horrible that there's no one on it. They're closing banks everywhere. They got tiny little windows. You can't get to see anyone. Everything's going automated. They're just trying to do it slowly so no one notices. The same way in like supermarkets, like they're closing all the checkouts. Everything's becoming more self-service. There's going to be no people in this world soon. There's going to be none. There's going to be absolutely none. You know, it's pretty hilarious. Hey, Lewis sent us $10. Everyone say thank you to Lewis, please. Look, see? Thanks, Lewis. One in the chat for the big Elmeister. Thank you, my bro. Boycott them. Yes, that's it. Banks used to look magnificent. They did, didn't they? There used to be these amazing, you know, buildings with big high ceilings, you know, like out of Mary Poppins. Right? Now they're just horrible, all of them. Terrible, tiny little, awful little holes, little rat holes, these banks now. Dude, I got my Bitcoins. Triple P, I got my Bitcoins. Still loaded up. I haven't traded away those Bitcoins you gave me. They're still in my digital wallet, safely on my PC. I have no idea what I'm going to do with them, but they're there. Don't worry. I haven't been getting fast and loose with my Bitcoins. The Roman Catholic Church, in my opinion, is just washed. You know, when I look at the Pope and the Roman Catholic, and not the people in the Roman Catholic Church, there's some good Christ-loving people in there, but the actual organization and who's running it, etc., no. See, look, Eddie P says, I like Bitcoin as a long-term hold. Me too. I'm a long-term hold kind of guy. Bitcoin is the prelude to the mark of the beast. Ah, right. Just hold that Bitcoin, dude. What else am I going to do with it? I don't know what else to do with it. My bank is a Costa now. Justin likes silver. Here's a suggestion. Heliosorcery. Exposing the occult origins of heliocentrism. Well, I'd first have to know what heliocentrism even is, I think. I've got no idea. I got no idea. If you can, I don't know what happens. Did you know Bitcoin started on Halloween? Is that true? I saw that the Bitcoin guy go on Tucker Carlson. I was pretty convinced, to be honest. Oh, yeah. Cash points are closing at an unbelievable rate now. They are, aren't they? Dude, the cashless society's on the way in. Anyone that can't see that's nuts. Heliocentrism, sun-centric. Okay. Hoggy, mate, you can write down your wallet seed. Okay. Bitcoin was very likely made by DARPA. Aren't they the weather guys? Oh, that's HARP. That's Harper. What's the chat's opinion on baptism? If someone has found Christ after a long departure, must he be baptized again after he was a child, or is that baptism eternal? If I'm making sense. No, you are very much making sense. Baptism is an instruction, but it's not a necessity in order to be saved. For example, the thief on the cross that comes to believe in Jesus, and Jesus says, you will be with me tonight in paradise. So he didn't have time to get himself baptized. So you don't have to be baptized, but a baptism is kind of like a public display or a public statement of your salvation, your belief in Jesus. So you're supposed to do it, but it's not, you know, it's a nice to have. And I'm looking forward to my baptism, but it's not a must. Say no to CBDC. I'm saying no to CBDC, don't worry. 100 GB News. Talking about CBDC. Here they are. Should we be worried about central bank digital currency? Let's see.
Let loved ones die alone on account of a disease only a minuscule percentage of the population was ever at serious risk from, and they knew it, and yet were expected to believe instead that they never said any such thing. Soon enough, we might be expected to forget that we ever used to pay in cash and that our transactions were once our own private business, and accept instead digital IDs and central bank digital currencies and social credit scores. In a year or two, it might be as though there was never cash or privacy or dissent or protest. We'll be expected to forget.
I like Neil Oliver. He does stare at you like a psycho.
If we're already expected to forget how all this mess happened, then in a year or two we might be expected to forget we were ever sovereign individuals with private lives and private thoughts. But here's...
Bitcoin networks will only care about a payment being sent from an address that has enough Bitcoin and has a valid signature that only the private key can make. For CBDCs, your private key will be held by the government. Okay, I think I get that.
The thing, I for one won't be forgetting any of it. I remember everything. What's been done stays done. What's been said stays said. It's up to us to remember everything that happened.
Fairs.
And to keep reminding everyone else as well.
Didn't seem like it was about CBDC. Maybe it's coming now.
All of that's my opinion, of course, and you're free to disagree. Keep your tweets and emails coming all through the show. You can email gbviews@gbnews.uk, and you can tweet me as well, @gbnews. I'll try to get to some of your comments later in the show.
Fairs.
Joining me tonight, I'm delighted to be with broadcaster and political commentator Paula London.
Thank you for having me.
Daniel.
Wait a minute. Found recently my brand new King James Bible has no Genesis 6. It just ends at 5. No way. That can't be the case.
Moylan, the Conservative peer and former advisor to Boris Johnson.
Oh yeah, he looks so great. What a trustworthy man. He doesn't look like the villain in a Die Hard movie at all. We can trust this guy.
Paula, I had a lot to say there. I can only apologise. Do you feel as if the story, the official version of events, is changing in front of our eyes?
We're living in scary times. I will never forget what happened in lockdown. I feel like what happened was the British public were too compliant. We did everything we were told to do. And I feel like because of this now, more and more things are being put onto us. You know, with the CBDC, I believe that...
CBDC. Sorry.
Because so many people were compliant during the lockdown, a lot of people will be compliant with this, will be told what we can spend money on. You know, a lot of banks now, they can try to track our carbon footprint. So who knows, if we do have CBDC, they can restrict money because your footprint is higher than it should be. So this is quite worrying. It's quite worrying. We don't want to live in a dictatorship.
It's kind of a boring video, to be fair. I can't believe somebody took Genesis 6 out of your Bible. That's one of my favorite ones, Genesis 6. It's very telling what's going on in Genesis 6. Oh my God, the HSBC ad. You should see this HSBC ad that I took a photo of. Look at this. Can you see that? When an abuser controls your finances, they control you. And it's got like a puppet hand over that. And that's from HSBC saying that. HSBC saying, when an abuser controls your finances, they control you. That's the most sinister advert I've ever seen. HSBC saying that. Bearing in mind the control that banks have over your finances. And they're saying, whoa, we got you on strings now. That's crazy. Crazy. Most world banks are corrupt. Yeah, it's like boycott the banks. Like, what are we going to do? You know? Consider what happens when people realize that they have a choice between government digital currency, CBDC, or cryptocurrency. Indeed. Haven't all the crypto millionaires like been killing themselves or something? I've been seeing that on my Twitter. I've been seeing that going on. Okay, we got a new super chat coming in. Triple P! Thanks, Triple P. Bosch, second donation incoming. Your Electrum Bitcoin wallet will have the private key on a password encrypted .dat file. You should back up securely, and a seed phrase you should write and keep securely. Okay, I have kept my seed phrase securely. And my Electrum Bitcoin wallet will have the private key on a password encrypted .dat file. Right. Paul is right. Okay. Thanks, Paul. Thank you for the super chat and the advice. I've already done the second bit of the advice. The first bit of the advice is about a .dat file that I should back up. I don't immediately know how to back up a .dat file, but that doesn't sound that hard to do. Some crypto billionaires have died recently, not millionaires. Right. Can you plant your seed phrase? I don't think you can. This is a good question from Maya Kent. What happens to all the non-believers when Jesus comes back? Do they have a chance to be saved? They do. And basically once, when Jesus returns for his bride, so Jesus will return, all the Christians and the believers will be taken up out of the world into heaven, and then the Great Tribulation begins. And during the Great Tribulation is when the Antichrist rules over the earth and the false prophet and the beast, etc., etc., etc. So at that point, the way to be saved is to refuse the mark of the beast and refuse to worship the Antichrist, and then what will happen is they will kill you. And then you get to heaven that way, by enduring to the end, and then you'll be saved. But the best way to be saved is to believe in Jesus before he comes back. And then you'll be taken up to heaven. And you won't have to endure the Great Tribulation. Comfort each other with these words. Wait a minute. The Bible says you need to choose Jesus now. You will not be able to be saved at the second coming. It will be too late. What about the people that are saved during the tribulation period, though, Julie? The best time is indeed now. The best time is now. You should choose Jesus now, and then you won't be going through the Great Tribulation. But a lot of people are saved during the Great Tribulation. But let's wait to hear what Julie says about this, because Julie does massively know what she's talking about. That's after the rapture, Alistair, not the second coming. Oh, right. Fine. The second coming, right, which is after the tribulation, Battle of Armageddon, etc. Got you. Thank you. Will the rapture be instant or over a set period of time? I believe it will be pretty instant. Take my hand if you want to live. I believe it'll be pretty instant. I believe that the Antichrist will be revealed. At that point, the church will be taken up out of here, because the Antichrist isn't to rule over the church. Cy Lacey, ladies and gentlemen. What's up, dude? You said it right, Alistair. I'm just talking about at the second coming. You do not want to be in the tribulation, though. Today is the day of salvation. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, the Great Tribulation. I just read the whole of the book of Revelation from chapter 4 to the end, between 8 and 9 o'clock tonight. It doesn't take that long. You can read the whole of the book of Revelation in like an hour. You know? And if you read the book of Revelation, you really will start to see, like, oh, okay, a lot of these prophecies are coming true. They're on the way. Like, you can see the Antichrist rising. You can see the mark of the beast coming. You can see the cash being removed from the world. You can see the false prophet rising. You can see the beast system. You know? Oh, well done, Alistair. Thank you. I don't know what I've done well, but thank you. Oh, reading Revelation. No doubt. I just wanted to read it again. Ugh. Kanye West is absolutely just like ridiculous now. On some weird shit. He's just ridiculous. Sai saying hello to some people. I enjoyed the videos on this topic. Which videos were they? The end times videos? Has he said something new there? He's just saying that he's autistic or something. Again, with something covering his face. It's thoroughly ridiculous. It's thoroughly ridiculous. I knew I was right about that guy. I was saying, like, I don't trust him, he's weird, etc., etc. I knew I was right about that guy. Ooh. I agree with this as well. Peterson has obviously been intercepted. I was willing to listen when I learned of his 2030 work, but no longer. Oh. Oh, you sent me this, I think Peachy sent me an ad. When Peachy sends me an ad, they're always worth watching. Let me get this up for you guys. Thanks, Al, for sending this in. UK Health Security Agency. It's going to be appalling. Creepy statue.
It was a cold winter's eve, and someone very special was carefully checking their Christmas list for things they still needed to do. After one too many mince pies, he slowly gets out of his chair, then quickly hurries to the local vaccination centre somewhere in South London, where he finds a sack full of Santas from all around the world, waiting for exactly the same thing.
How
convenient. And who might be administering the vaccines, I wonder? Well, it's none other than Dr. Hillary, the celebrity
gosh.
doctor from the TV. Splendid.
You're not done enough, Hillary.
It was all over faster than you can say Rudolph, and Santa didn't feel a thing. Now that it's done, Santa can finally cross it off his list and get on with the important things this
Boosted.
Christmas, like spreading joy and delivering all the presents. Boost your immunity this winter with the flu and COVID-19 vaccines.
Yikes. Have we played the Supermarkets Care video yet? No, I don't know about that one. Man, this stuff is weird now. It's Christmas. It's brought to you by Pfizer. Man, that's wild. I swear they did that whole trick last year as well. Like, hey, Santa needs a vaccine. I swear they did that already. Okay, thanks, dude. Didn't they? Sure they did. Oh, they have the comments on still. There's one from Al. This is the worst thing I've ever seen. Dude, but we're not buying any presents like in my family this year for Christmas. You know? We're not doing any of that crap. With the financial meltdown's been so hard, it's like, right, well, we're not doing any of this buy everyone a present crap. Which I'm really looking forward to. You can install Restore Dislikes extension and see how badly it's downvoted also. That's interesting. I can't believe they took away dislikes. I wonder what the 17... what are they called? I wonder what the 77th Brigade are doing with my videos now that they can't downvote them all. What's up, Jules? Thought Santa would find a clause to get out of that one. Wow. Nice. See what you've done there. Al says we're doing practical presents only. Yeah, some of the crap that they have available for Christmas presents. you can waste money on. The extension works on all browsers, including WaterFox. Oh, good. I was really hoping it worked on WaterFox. What's a WaterFox? Posted the vid in my Telegram. Okay. On the TG for this stream, you say? There we go. Here we go. It's going to get me kicked off YouTube, this ad. We'll see. Window. Oh, you're not going to be able to... Are you going to be able to... Can you hear the audio on this? Probably not. Can you hear the audio? You can't hear it. Oh, man. That's unfortunate. No sound. Yeah, it's because I'm sharing window. Damn it. Can't share it through Telegram. Oh, Simon Brodkin. I know him. Yeah, it did have subtitles, but it's not quite the same. It's not worth playing without the music, I would say. You get the gist of it. It's like, taking the piss out of Christmas and how the supermarket's getting you to buy loads of stuff you don't need, basically. That's the general gist-ola. What else is going on? When do the good vibes start? What are you talking about? There's been good vibes on this stream, hasn't there? There's definitely been some vibes. Definitely been some good vibes. Ew. Somebody sent us a message. Who be that? It's Triple P, folks. He's back. Triple P has sent us another 1776. Thanks, my bro. In a recent Twitter files revelation, Elon has confirmed that for trends and searches, some are blacklisted. My thoughts are, show me the blacklisted trends searches. Biatch. One for Triple P, folks. Yeah. I'm the same as you. Like, I don't actually believe that Elon Musk is. He's wearing Satan armor in his PFP. And people actually think he's coming to help. You know? This man is exclusively funding us. He's doing his best. He's doing his best. I might need to move down to England as a wind drought refugee. You did. You forgot the donation incoming. You forgot the donation. You forgot the Bosch as well. I was like, what's going on? I like saying that bit. Bosch. The Lotus Eaters are all over Elon. Are they? Do they like Elon? No, they don't, do they? Do they really? How do they be so smart and miss that one? Isn't there something about a lotus? Doesn't Hugo talk about like a lotus and a lotus flower? Also, I think Sargon of Akkad is an actual name for like the Antichrist. Like Nimrod. I think his name is Sargon of Akkad. Holy cow. Listen, Cy Lacey's just slammed 20 big ones down the table. So big up Cy, please, in the chat. One for Cy. Thank you very much, Mr. Lacey. Mr. Lacey, long time supporter of the channel. We appreciate you, bro. I'm hanging in there, folks. I'm hanging in there. No, listen, I'm not suggesting that Carl is the Antichrist or worships the Antichrist, but I'm telling you, Sargon of Akkad, Sargon is one of the names that Nimrod had. Sargon of Akkad, and Akkad is like the first world empire. So I believe that Sargon of Akkad is basically Nimrod, who I believe is the demon king from the abyss and a real shout for being the Antichrist. Like, the royal family loved Nimrod. They love Edward Elgar. They love Nimrod the Hunter. They love, like, you know, this ancient Assyrian, Babylonian, pagan god worship, etc., etc. There's no way Elon Musk is a good guy. There's no way. There's no way. Have you guys seen these clips of Elon getting booed at this Dave Chappelle thing? Have you seen that? It is a good tune. But if you listen to Edward Elgar, he's on record as saying there's some sort of dark message behind his music or something that's secretly in there or something. I don't care for Elon, but I love what's happening. What's happening? What's happening? What, like on Twitter or whatever? I've not really seen a big difference on Twitter. My followers are still removed quite regularly. This tweet has been interesting that I put out. Look, let me show you. So I put this tweet out. I put ITV coverage of the men's football presented without comment. I just had this was a live photo that I took of the ITV coverage of the England game of the men's football, and it's just literally so hilarious. We just have three ridiculously dressed women there talking about the men's football. It's just, and the reaction to this one, the comments and stuff, and it's mostly people saying box ticking, but it's mostly women who are like, oh, I can't stand this. You know? And look, people still try and be like, come on, there's more important things to be getting outraged about. It's like presented without comment. Do you understand what presented without comment means? I'm literally just saying, here is a photo of the ITV coverage of the men's football presented with no comment. It's just, here it is. Okay? So people, there's no grounds to be like, oh man, stop crying. Stop getting outraged. It's like, I literally said, here's a picture of it. No comment. There's no outrage. Nothing. But it is just pure box-ticking ridiculousness. Crazy. My mother said she couldn't stand it. Women have no place. I'm telling you, it's all women in the comments who've been like, I hate this. I hate it. Why do I have to listen to women tell me about men's football? It's so embarrassing. So embarrassing. So embarrassing. How can they possibly know anything about men's football? They've never played it. They've never played it. And we all know if there was 3 men commentating on the women's, it would be an outrage, etc., etc. It's just like men can't be allowed to have a space. They can't be allowed to have a thing. You know, it doesn't benefit anyone to shoehorn women into men's spaces and men into women's spaces. And like, no one wins. They just and they just want you to argue about it. That's the point. They want you to get upset about it. It's like, that's why I put presented without comment. It's like, I don't care that you're doing this, but I know that you're doing it. And I know why. What's the middle girl wearing? Somebody said she looked like a Nerf dart. Isn't Laura Woods the one who was doing cocaine on TalkSport and tried to pretend that she was brushing her teeth or something? Dorking Wanderers. I'm thinking about going there. That might be fun. You'll probably have a good time there. I actually saw they had a pregnant woman doing like sports analysis or something the other day. I was like, man. It really was just interesting to see people just go absolutely mental. Stop crying. It's like I literally said, here's a photo that I'm not saying anything about. How do you get to I'm crying? I just think it's a matter of time before teams have to have a tranny. I think you could be right. Right, what time is it? 10:30. Okay, I think that's enough good vibes for one evening, don't you? Should we have some outro music? What do we got here? What do we got here? Acoustic, cinematic. There you go. Good outro music as ever. Alistair, if your PC machine is a PC Electron White, can be found at the folder path. Blah, blah, blah. Thank you. Thank you, Paul. You're welcome, Danny. Thank you very much for tuning in tonight, folks. Hope you enjoyed yourselves. I know I did. Thank you to everyone who continues to support the stream, both financially and by turning up. Thank you to all our subscribers over on Subscribestar. I don't want you guys to ever think that I forget about you. You're also vitally important to this operation, so thank you to everyone. Thank you, Maya. Yeah, this is decent too. We need more fake news. I'm working on it, man. Working on it. Al, interview Hugo Talks. Okay, I'd love to interview Hugo Talks. Maybe I'll ask him, see if he gets back to me. Nice stream, everyone. Thank you, Kelly Doe. What time is night, everyone. Thanks, site. I should promote my stuff more, but I'm so shadow banned. Sometimes I'm like, what's the point? Bye. See you later, guys. See you tomorrow.